lot of response for A and then quite a few for B. So let's see. As the capillaries in the circulatory system, there is low combined overall resistance in the conducting zone despite the tube's decreasing radius. Why is the resistance low? So A is the correct answer, right? Just like what we saw with capillaries, there's that extensive branching, right? A lot of branching, it's a lot of total combined surface area there. And so that is what's going to keep resistance overall low as we move throughout the branches of the vasculature. Let's see what B is. So the tubes have smoother surfaces for airflow. So that's not correct, okay? The surface doesn't change. The diameter is changing, but nothing about the tube is making it less resistant to flow. It's just that there's so much branching that happens that we keep resistance overall low, okay? So the answer here was A. Let's look at another. We've got two more. All right, final 10 seconds here. All right, let's see. Okay, so we actually had a tie in the responses, so let's see here. What are the extrinsic and intrinsic controls that cause the relaxation of bronchial or smooth muscle? So basically, we're looking at what the extrinsic controls are. So extrinsic epinephrine, that's correct. Extrinsic carbon dioxide, that's not correct, right? Carbon dioxide is not an extrinsic factor. So that completely eliminates B, right? B is actually flip-flopped. Again, C, extrinsic is not carbon dioxide. So that also eliminates C, excuse me. So yeah, that eliminates B and C. And then D, extrinsic parasympathetic. So that part is correct, but then intrinsic epinephrine. So this part is not correct, okay? So just to recap the extrinsic and intrinsic controls here, extrinsic is going to be epinephrine specifically, but also more broadly, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic division of the autonomic nervous system, okay? Intrinsic is going to be carbon dioxide. And then one other thing that we spoke about, anyone remember that other component or example of an intrinsic control? So it was carbon dioxide as one, and then another. And remember, when we speak about intrinsic, we're talking about local. Excellent. Yes, histamine. So that's another local factor, right? Another local factor or local component that can regulate the size of the bronchial radius, right? So extrinsic is going to be hormones, neurotransmitters, autonomic nervous system, epinephrine, norepinephrine, parasympathetic, like different ways to phrase that. And then intrinsic are going to be local factors, so CO2 and histamine production. All right, excellent. So the answer here would have been A. And then we'll look at one more here. Right, so let's do this. All right, final few seconds. All right. So I was hoping this was 100% that everyone would get this right. But the question, which device measures volumes, of inspired and expired air? And that is the spirometer, okay? Not the pulmometer, that's not a thing. And then the other two are wrong as well. So it's the spirometer that we spoke about in terms of measuring those movable lung volumes. And there was one lung volume that we cannot measure with a spirometer. And we'll review that here in a second. Okay, so the answer here would have been B, the spirometer.